I change things, still I fear the answer's no. In this fucked up world in which I feel I stand alone. All this hate that I feel for you, my one true enemy, once was blind, but now I see. It makes me question, why do we choose to live this way? I try to free my mind from what's not meant to be. It makes me question why.
Listen to me, you person watching this. Don't you go around asking like, Darkness, where have you been? Alright? You didn't even tell us what. No, because I did several times, so don't even get me started on this whole, you didn't ever tell us anything. Alright, and don't you tell me you have a real life, Darkness. Don't tell me you have other priorities, because I know you don't. Alright? Well, first of all, stop thinking you know me, because you don't. Alright? You're fucking wrong. Alright, second of all, I'm back. Woo! So that's the thing that may or may not entertain you or cheer you up. Are you having a bad day? Okay, whoever was a dick to you, you tell them to fuck off. I don't care who it was, alright? Because you don't need to put up with that shit. Well, let me tell you something. We're back, and we're going to be reviewing a game that I really have been putting off for way too long, because this person is by far my oldest requester when it comes to things I owe people. So here we go! Boktai, which I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. The sun is in your hand! Yeah! Which is like the exact opposite of a game you'd expect me to review.
Wow, could you have picked a more least appropriate game to review?
What are you talking about?
Have you looked outside today?
What's wrong with outside? Okay, we're not gonna talk about that right now. So I gotta admit, I was really skeptical when I first started playing this game, because it's one of those games that looking at it does it absolutely no justice. Like, at all. Like, you can sit there and read about it, and you can sit there and watch it, but you won't really get it until you actually start playing it. Because it's not what I expected at all. It looks like, you know, an isometric action shooter or something like that. And no, I actually advise not playing the game like that at all, because that generally will get you killed. The idea is actually to avoid enemies most of the time. So yeah, it's about sneaking around. It's all stealth-based. I know. But that's not even the weirdest part about this game. The weirdest part is that this game was really unique for the time, and still is actually, because I don't think any game besides games in the same series have done it since. It included a solar sensor. This is a GBA game, mind you, on the game cart, from what I understand. And basically, it acted like a little solar panel, and it would detect sunlight, and it would actually affect the in-game, because you actually need to be in the sun in order to play this game effectively. You can't play it without the sun. It's not possible. You need to use the sunlight in order to do certain moves to power up your gun. I mean, you know, it's very strange, actually. And it actually makes playing the game now a big pain in the butt, because emulating it isn't exactly easy. Because it's not actually possible to progress without the solar sensor at all. So, if you want to play this game, you either need to do A, get an actual physical cartridge of the game and play it on a GBA, or B, get a modified ROM that will allow you to either fake the solar sensor, or the other way, which is there's apparently a modified ROM where they coded the game to ignore the solar sensor. They won't even check it. It'll just play it as normal and assume the solar sensor is working, I guess. I don't know. In any event, that's the only way you can play the game, because playing it normally in a ROM format wouldn't work because you don't have the solar sensor. I mean, all these little things add up to a game that's actually extremely unique, which surprises me, because you start the game and oh my god, is that fucking flower again?! listen to me. I don't want any fucking friendliness pellets, alright? I'm so sick of you. Actually, that's not who that is at all. That's Otenko. He's your little guide, master, friend, who's a sunflower. Because, you know, puns, I guess. Who will help you throughout your entire quest. Your play is a character named Django, whose sole purpose is to defeat the undead. He's a vampire hunter. And I guess this is a post-apocalyptic world where the undead have risen and people are dying. And when I say that out loud, it sounds like a really weak setup, but it actually is a pretty interesting environment. The game graphics are unique and stylized. The music is pretty good, as well as the sound display, although I would argue that most of the tracks aren't that memorable. But then again, this is a GBA sound, and for some reason, I don't know what it is about me, but GBA and Super Nintendo sound always sounds off to me, and I believe it is because I grew up with the Genesis, so 16-bit graphics with really high quality sound just sounds so frickin' weird to me. I don't know what it is. It's not that the sound is bad. That's just me being strange. We're gonna ignore that completely. All in all, visuals and sound and setting, all great. And the gameplay, like I said, is extremely unique. You can level up your gun with different attachments. There are items to collect in order to heal yourself and give yourself more solar power. And as I said, it is entirely stealth-based. Your goal here is to sneak by, to get through in order to complete your objective. The whole goal is generally to avoid combat. Now later in the game you're able to defeat enemies, but again, since you're reliant on the solar sensor in order to charge up your weapon, you're not exactly using infinite amounts of energy here. Most of the time you have to pass these enemies by, and that's the beauty of this experience. And in fact, the whole stealth basis should be absolutely no surprise when you realize that this game was produced by Hideo Kojima. He's the guy who made the Metal Gear series, if you didn't already know that. And if you didn't already know that, then what rock have you been living under if you call yourself a gamer? I'm just asking. Like, seriously. He's easily one of the most recognizable game designers in the world, I would argue. Point is that this game's got its roots in stealth, and you really need to know that going in. But all of it makes for a really fun and unique experience. I would actually recommend this game to anybody. Generally, I'm trying to think of anything that I don't like about the game, other than the sound bothering me. I do think the control is a little funny. And I think that has less to do with the game itself and more to do with the fact that we're playing this on a GBA. You only have 2 buttons to work with, and since they had to make it so that both buttons did more than one thing, I have run into occasions where I'm supposed to be doing one thing and the game likes to let me hug a wall or something else related. However, it doesn't come up enough to be a huge issue, so I wouldn't really knock the game too hard because of it. However, the other control issue involves the D-pad, and I just feel like it's really hard to aim your weapon sometimes, which is a big deal if you do get spotted, where you basically get utterly destroyed. Now seriously, don't get spotted in this game. You get fucked up, like pretty quick. But aiming just becomes a little bit difficult, and it feels like one of those designs that wants to use analog control but obviously can't. And that can be a little frustrating to get used to. However, other than those 2 things, the game is an absolute joy to play. And if you were like me and hadn't even known about this buried gem in the GBA library, I absolutely encourage you to find a copy or get a modified ROM and give it a try. So until next time, this is Darkness, and I bid you all a fond farewell.